Dear friends in Christ, I'm so happy to be with you today. And today I want to remind you that life is a mystery. There are certain things that happen in our life that we don't understand and we cannot explain. Why? Because we are finite. Only God has the perfect answers and solutions to everything that may be happening in our lives. Let me also tell you that sometimes we experience dryness. Sometimes we experience emptiness. Sometimes we experience this darkness in our lives, in our marriage, in our relationship, even in our vocation. Sometimes a lot of things happen in our life that we cannot really explain why they are happening, how they started happening, or what we should do, because there are certain things that we don't really have answers to. There are things we cannot change. Of course, we know that. But even in the moments that we pass through these difficult moments, even in the moment we pass through this darkness, in the moment we pass through this dryness or emptiness, sometimes we may feel that God is absent. But I want to tell you something, that God is never absent. The nature of God is that He is eternally present. Of course, you remember the encounter that God had with Moses. And Moses asked God, Unsay mong pangalan, what is your name? And God said to him, my name is I am. The I am means that God is eternally present. He is omnipresent. There's no time that God is not there. But sometimes because of our problems, because of our difficulties, because of this dryness, emptiness, and darkness, sometimes we feel that God is absent. But God is never absent, because it is contradictory to the nature of God to be absent. God is fully present, but we are the ones who, become absent in the front of the presence of God. So when God allows us to pass through these difficult moments, He always has a reason for that. But let me tell you something, that all the efforts we make in the moments of our darkness, dryness, emptiness, God takes note of each of them. You may be thinking that, you are just walking alone, you are just struggling alone. But I want to assure you that God takes note of every effort you make in your relationship, in your business, in your academics, in your profession, in your vocation. Whatever effort you make, God takes note of each of them. The gospel today about the widow's mite is something that we should reflect on. People were giving offering, everyone was giving offering until the widow came. Of course, the widow gave, 2 coins, a lepton, and that is the smallest in value in the time of Jesus when he talked about money. But Jesus took note of this widow. The widow gave 2 coins, a symbol of a total commitment, a symbol of a total submission to God. The 2 coins is symbolize the body and the soul. Kasi every human person is a composite being. We are all made up of body and soul. So when this widow dropped the 2 coins, she actually submitted. To drop means to submit. She submitted her entire livelihood. Why? Because she trusted in God's mercy. Why? Because she trusted that God can give her even more than the little that she has. Generosity is an attitude of gratitude, and not just that, but generosity is an attitude of faith. But one thing that I would like us to really pay attention to, my dear brothers and sisters, is that Jesus took note of what this widow did. The shape of the treasury is like trumpet. So it's difficult for someone who is not the one giving the offering to know what the offerer gives. But Jesus was standing afar and he was able to notice how much that this widow gave. So Jesus takes note. No, he takes note of every effort you make. In the moments of our darkness and shortcomings and weaknesses and dryness and emptiness, never you think that the Lord is not concerned. God recognizes every effort you are making, even in that your relationship, in your business. He takes note of them. I really wish to remind you that even your tears, your weeping, your desires, your longings, every effort you make to become better than you are today, God takes note of them. God is concerned about your present situation because He wants to lead you to a better situation. But I tell you one thing, do not allow your present situation to discourage you or to blind you from looking and seeing where God is taking you to. So don't relent. Don't say that, oh, God does not take note of my effort. He does. He takes note of every single sincere effort that you are making in that your marriage, in your relationship, in your business, in your profession, in your vocation, in your spiritual life. He takes note of each of them. He notices them. He is concerned about you, and he will surely appreciate you by rewarding you with blessings and favors. So do not give up if things are not happening exactly the way you expected, because God's time is the perfect time. If you hang in there, I tell you, there's going to be a time that you're going to look back to remember how you were able to make sacrifices, and today you are, reaping the fruit of your sacrifice. Look at the first reading today about the four children from Israel: Daniel, Meshach, Shadrach, and Abednego. When they were asked to eat from the king's table, they refused to eat from the king's table. They said, "We will not defile ourselves by eating from the royal table. Just allow us, give us only vegetables, and you will see that the Lord will take care of us." Their little effort was on loyalty. They refused to disobey the law of the Lord. What happened? At the end of that testing time, all the young men were presented before the king. Only the four children were looking well fed. They were looking better than the other persons. Why? Because God recognized their simple effort. God recognized their simple loyalty. God recognized their sincere effort, that we will not eat from the king's table, we will depend on God. So that was the time of their slavery. I don't know what you passed through or what you are passing through at this moment, but the fact is that if you are able to hang in, if you are able to get to remain connected to God, even in the moments of your darkness, I tell you, the light will shine in your life very soon, even as soon as you least expected. So God rewarded them. He gave them knowledge. He made them, He nourished them, and they were looking better. They were incomparable to the other persons, other young men. The saint we are celebrating today, Saint Cecilia, is also a beneficiary of this recognition of God. Cecilia refused to defile herself. She died a virgin. And she is remembered also as the patron saint of the choir, because she is known for sacred music. But she wrote a poem extolling virginity, purity. So, my dear friends in Christ, I know that sometimes even to live a holy life is difficult, but I tell you, every simple, single, sincere effort we make, God is taking note of them, and God recognizes them, and eventually He appreciates them. He appreciates them, and He is certainly going to reward them. So, remember today that as you work, don't give up, but keep on walking, bearing in mind that God takes note of every effort you are making, and He will eventually reward you in His own time. God bless you.